My Sephardic grandparents basically came from the how to say
the expulsion in Spain?
From Spain, yeah.
Okay.
It took them about 100 years to get to Israel, and
around 1600.
1600 they're living in the Jerusalem. To be honest, they're very famous in Jerusalem. It's a big family.
Do you want to give the name?
Hermosa.
Okay.
Which means pretty in Spanish. Apparently.
Which means, sorry?
Pretty in Spanish.
Okay.
And they live in good neighbors with the Arabic. I mean, if you take the Ottoman and the English occupants.
Mm-hmm. What area of Jerusalem did they live in?
The Jewish quarter.
Okay.
And my Yemenite side came from Yemen in around 1900. And my grandparents settled in Silwan.
The Yemenite side or the
Yemenite side.
Okay.
Because there weren't enough space in the old city. Mm-hmm. They lived in Silwan. There was actually a lot of empty space there. So they got money from contributors to build them the homes, because they had the land but they didn't have the money to build the homes.
Okay. So from Jews living outside of Israel?
Actually from Ashkenaz Jews.
Okay.
So they lived there until 1929, roughly. Then they escaped.
During the Arab Revolt?
Yeah. It was pretty difficult for them to live there.
But what happened? What do you know about that?
I know that there was a lot of stealing, burglary. I don't really know the whole story. I know they just fled.
Okay.
And moved to the Jewish side.
Okay. So you're saying the Palestinians of the time were stealing and robbing the Jews even before?
In that specific area, I cannot say for the whole area.
Okay.
I just know for my side of the story, my grandparents, this was the case, and they moved out of the Silwan.
Okay. Why did they have to move out of Silwan during?
Because it was pretty unbearable. I mean, they couldn't live there anymore.
What was happening? That's from what you know. Like, what did your grandparents tell you?
Actually, they didn't tell me much about it. I mean, my grandmother didn't tell me much, and her sister, she already born in she's 83 now, but she's already born in the Jewish side, so she only knows the stories. I need to ask my uncles, my father's uncle. Okay. Actually.
So how do you know this story? This is what you heard from your parents?
From my grandmother. Okay. But she didn't want to tell me too much about it. I mean, she was roughly young. She was 6-year-old when they left. So she didn't remember much. It was a hard time for them, so they left. Okay. They preferred to live more peaceful life on the Jewish side. Okay. Without any aggravation.
Okay. So anything else you want to add about that time? Because a lot of people ask, the reason I'm filming this, a lot of people ask what were the relations between Arabs and Jews before 1948?
I can tell you that at some extent, it depends where, why. I can tell you that from my Sephardic side, they told me that it was roughly good, it was okay. Also from the Yemenite side, I know that in Yemen and other places it was good. I mean, they didn't have any much problems with them.
So why did they come?
To Israel?
Yeah.
Actually, my Yemenite side, they came before the Jewish state, before the Jewish
in 1900.
Yeah, in 1900. It was a dream for them to come to Israel, I think, at some point. I cannot tell you exactly why they came. I know my grandfather worked really hard to come to Israel. I mean, literally worked really hard. He saved a lot of money to come to Israel. And it wasn't very easy for them to come at that time. But from my Sephardic side, I think it was the necessity. I mean, this is, I think, where they felt safe. This came directly from Europe here.
Okay. That 400, 500 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Anything else you want to add about what you heard about those times?
I don't have any much to add. I don't want to say something that it's not. I don't like to say something that's not historically fact.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
so it's